If you would you stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Time for public comment. Is something not working?
I don't know.
Okay.
See here, make sure. Question I have is, do you have getting whether to say something out of public comment, or when you go into the water system, we'd be asking.
Well, since we are dealing with you directly, I think that would be acceptable.
Yeah.
Any public comment? Nothing for you? I see somebody named June. June, do you have any public comment? Okay, hearing none, we will go ahead and move forward. Our first item on our agenda is the ratification of the amendment to the amendment number 6 to Carrie Allen purchase agreement, the water system, signed by myself and Executive Director Travis Merrill. So do we need to make a motion or just move that we ratify? Okay. Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, make a motion to move on that.
Okay, I'll second it. All in favor, say aye. Aye, so moved. Okay, discussions of the action on potential meeting space. Lease for the meeting space down here. Travis, would you like to explain a little more about that?
Sure. As noted in the special meeting notes there, we have a local company, Grassroots Learning, that does a co-op school, family-based co-op school here in town. And they meet at the Nourish building currently, where they double use the space. It's also a children's gym. So Alyssa Warren, who is the director and the owner of Grassroots Learning, has approached us as a thought of possibly leasing this downstairs area for a period of time of around 7 to 3 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, or a second option of Tuesday through Thursday, for just either 4 or 3 days a week. The porch meeting room's about 20% larger than our current space. And after a discussion with her, it seemed that her current lease space, or what she's paying currently, is around $800 a month for the small space that she uses, and wanted to bring this before the commission because this would be a long-term engagement. And we'd probably start off at a 6-month lease. But it has a potential of bringing us in anywhere from 800 to 1,000 per week, or per month, I'm sorry. But I'd like the commission to discuss what they think and what their thoughts are on those price points. It seemed to me that meeting space, possibly in a larger area, maybe even Belfair for the most part, would be more than little old Allyn. It is hard to engage businesses in Allyn. There's not a whole lot of walkthrough for especially like retail and stuff, but this is different. I feel like we've got a solid engagement with Alyssa and her parents, in the sense that they're already here.
Mm-hmm.
They're here every day. They have school using our play facility.
They're out there today, right?
Yes. Today's Monday. It's their traditional day off,
Oh,
but they were out there with their kids.
yeah, it's one.
They didn't have their regular school, but they did come and meet down here. Everybody drove because it's the day off, because it's.
So, would they, because this time of year is gonna be challenging for them to use the park, right? So, how many kids are that?
I would gauge no more than 20.
Okay, and then would they still be using the gymnasium up there?
So they plan on keeping that space.
Okay.
And having it as a option with they're still gonna do their children's gym. But this would be their primary schooling location.
I was just concerned about the additional, because I like the idea, but my concern was, they're, the cost of them, you know, their cost, but there's 20 and. If the average is about 2 or 3 per family, and you have 7
Right.
people paying, it's not so bad, it's palatable for them to pay for a gymnasium and have this place extra space. I'm for it. I've just. Children damage deposit.
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, would be
You
worked
know,
out
other than
with
that,
this,
we're homeschoolers, we always have been, so I mean. I get it, like to support it, yeah, we'd like to also cover down on the Port Valley.
No, and it takes care of probably about 20% of our money rolls on average in the budget.
Yeah,
It's a step in the right direction.
it is, I like it.
And there's also some other considerations. We do have a few nonprofit and for-profit engagements that do currently use the space on different periods during the week, and we would have to work with them to adjust when they use the space. And then we would be a little less flexible on our meetings. Now, Monday is a day off, so it doesn't matter because they're gonna be in here 7 to 3 PM.
But can we do a workshop up there?
We could do a workshop up there, but if we had a lot of community engagement at our workshop, it would be difficult. But as long as we're scheduling our workshops at 3 o'clock,
I think we could work around.
it's no issue with
We
that.
can work through that.
Then we can use any day of the week for
Yeah.
a workshop.
Yeah.
I can always Zoom a
Yeah, I mean, there's always a possibility too.
workshop.
So we would have, we've got 3 current, like, weekly and monthly users. We have the senior nail service that happens once a month. But that could be engaged on a Monday, and it typically already is, so it wouldn't be a conflict. The new,
How many come to that?
they just come in periodically through the time she's here.
Oh.
The seniors show up and get their nails trimmed.
And that's the
Yeah.
nonprofit.
Yeah, it's a profit. She does it for, basically that helps her build the clientele for outside. Is what it does. So.
That's awesome.
And she used to do it at the hub.
Mhm.
It's just the hub has become inundated with
A lot of business.
a lot of, not just busy, there's a lot of things at the hub because they do run a thrift store.
Mhm.
They have
I
a
mean,
lot
could they
of-
do that up there in that other room up there?
Yes, and that's also a possibility.
You know,
too.
we're-
And I've talked with her
We can only
about
cut
that.
one at a time.
Right.
No, I mean that
Yeah.
at all. So I mean, if that's an option too, so I don't see anything in the way.
Yep, and then the senior calisthenics class that just started up, that's a for-profit instructor. They've been doing Wednesdays 9:30 to 10:30. That would be one that would be in the way that would need an adjustment.
Along with the Zumba class.
And the Zumba classes on Fridays, yes. So,
Okay.
That's-
and they only seasonally use the room, of course, it's the winter months that they haven't approached me to come indoors yet, they're still using the gazebo,
Mhm.
so. But that's a discussion that we can have. We find a way to work it, so I'm sure.
Do they just do school year time, or would this be like with summers is part of that?
So I haven't really discussed that
Okay.
with her, and it
Alright.
seems like that they're more of a kind of the year-round basis with, you know, periods of time off,
Mhm.
because everybody works. And that's part of their program, I'm sure.
Okay,
You don't need a motion or anything. to-
No, if
for
you
you
had
to-
some dissent, then, you know, I'd go back to
No,
the
I-
drawing board.
I think we're all for that.
And it's just, it's more of the price points. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd like to start the pitch at the 800 for 3 days and 1,000 for 4 days. We discussed 200 less when we talked. But I feel that there's room to negotiate there. And the port really needs to
It
be
puts us
in
close,
line with what the space is really.
Valued.
yeah, and put it
So-
closer to what. Actually. should be
And then
charged.
there's also leasehold taxes we pay.
I think that's reasonable. You're looking at probably a half a dozen families with that amount of kids roughly. You know, and trying to figure out the co-op group costs for them, to want to support that. I think you're on point on cue, but for now, with the dollar amount personally, I think I like it, and it is comparable to what they have going up here, so.
Mhm.
Okay,
It's $60 a day is how that sounds.
yeah, so I will pursue that as written up and let you know where we stand at the regular meeting.
Okay,
Alright,
sounds
that'd be
good.
great.
Well, I would say that that brings us to an end to the actionable items,
Okay,
and we could begin the workshop.
okay.
What about the carried agreement?
We
We-
ratified that.
We ratified that.
That's just a copy of it for you.
Okay,
That's in there.
got it, okay.
So we go to the Port's regular business and administrative improvement. Would you like to talk about that one?
Sure, everyone get a chance to read through the briefing workshop summary,
Yeah,
just 3 pages there, don't have a lot on it this week, or this month. We still have our problem vessel down here in Allyn, made contact with the pollution control hearing board this morning. Was able to leave a message, so wait for a call back. make
so
sure
they
that
weighed anchor and came back to your side?
No, they're still in the same spot.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
the pollution control board is the one that they would go and appeal that the port is not doing it right. And we need to
Oh.
make sure that they haven't made an appeal,
Where are they?
because
right
then I would have to put a case together. Oh, they're over on the far side, on the right-hand side as you come down the gangway.
now?
It's a nice boat.
It's a very nice boat. In fact, the individual was out over the weekend and buttoned the top up.
Hmm.
So there's some care there, but the vessel wasn't properly bumpered against our dock between October 19th and 22nd, when we had 25, 30-mile-an-hour winds come through, and it ended up rubbing against our pier, our piling, and shaving the creosote piling down. Now, not a lot, enough that there's now fine creosote shavings in the water and on our dock.
Shays, and plus his boat got damaged.
Boat didn't really get damaged, it just pushed the trim a little bit because it has a
Okay.
little rubber rub rail there.
All right,
So it protected it as it's intended, but
all right.
it's still just another example of the owner not really making sure the
What do you
boat
want
is
to do?
secure.
You're talking about chaining it there.
It's already chained.
Okay,
Yeah, it's chained for non-payment. In fact, the locks have been changed on the boat because he was trying to rebuild the motor on the boat, on the dock. There's a full head and exhaust manifold sitting in the cabin. And after custody was obtained, I confirmed that yes, underneath the floor, it's a twin motor setup. One of the heads is completely exposed. There's also a head gasket on the back deck with cans of gum out chemical for removing grease. So it's very obvious that that was done in that space.
all right.
Other than that, we technically we already have custody of it. We're just waiting the appeal period because there's a few horror stories out there of ports not waiting for that appeal period.
Oh, you
and
gotta wait.
having some things go wrong for them, so. We will just keep the boat secured and safe until then, and if it has to sit any longer after the appeal period, I'm sure Dawn and I, and maybe even another individual, will have to get that boat moved to the fair weather side so that it's not on the
Travis, have
windward
you had a
side.
face-to-face with him yet, or is this?
No, I've not had a face-to-face
Okay,
with
I
him.
didn't-
It's all been
doesn't sound-
emails and a couple of phone calls.
All
So,
right. Is he local here? You know?
his address is in Olympia. He claims that he doesn't live there currently,
Okay.
so. In fact, we got our notice returned that our registered mail notice did not get picked up. So,
Okay. What's his name?
we'll just leave it as the individual for now. Till it's all said and done. I can give it to you not
Okay,
publicly.
offline, all right, that's smart.
So, and then I get something that happened over the weekend after this had been posted, but it has along the same lines of port regular business administrative improvements, is that we had a large vessel just end up on our boat launch on the North Shore. We're talking about a 40-foot steel boat almost.
Oh, my.
And they paid for 2 nights of moorage, which they're not allowed to on the end of our boat launch. I posted it Saturday morning and ended up by Saturday afternoon.
We do
getting-
discounts on that.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
right. Discounts, right?
Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious.
Anyway, I did have a phone number for the owner because it's the same boat owner that had their vessel beached due to its sinking, to save it from sinking on our beach.
It's a power
several
boat or
months ago.
sailboat, sorry.
It's a powerboat.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was told that he had sold the boat to somebody else, and made it plainly aware that he's gonna be responsible for any costs if I had to do anything further. So we got the new owner to call me, and Sunday morning, they hauled it up with 2 trailers attached to each other to get it down far enough, and loaded that boat up on a very large trailer and hauled it out of there.
Oh,
So
wow. 40
crisis
foot.
averted. Yeah, almost 40.
That's a
Probably
wide
like
load.
36, 38 at least.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's hard for me to tell, but
Going
it
down
was
that
more
highway.
than 30.
I mean, that highway down there with that side of the road,
Oh,
that's a
boy.
really big feat. You gotta have wide load signs, the whole ball of wax.
They did not.
All right, that's on them.
Unfortunate. But it's gone. It's not the porch problem.
All right.
Other than that, we can move on to water system development.
DOH
But yeah,
loan?
the DOH loan for the drinking fund,
Mhm.
the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. It's kind of a mouthful. After our meetings that we had with the DOH, it was determined we needed to do a change to the scope of work. We got that done next day and it's resubmitted. Got confirmation that it had been resubmitted for review. So now we will follow up here towards the end of the week, see where we're at with that. But once it's returned to us, our law firm's ready to sign over that we are fully capable of being responsible for it. There's a document in there that they have to sign, part of their checks and balances process. And then we should be set there.
Good.
Mike with West Sound Engineering has begun drawing up our final report for submitting the DOH on the consolidation process and pressure improvements. And this is a 2-part plan to really get us where we want to be. This will get us to the construction portion of being able to use our funding that we're getting from the drinking fund loan to consolidate the 2 systems, and then we'll have to submit a second report to actually do our water system plan update.
All right.
Reveal the true nature and scope of the system and put us in a better position with the documentation so that we can see those connections increase.
Question or anything, Jeff?
Let the board know that, we gotta kind of keep a little pressure on that, because basically there's a bunch of the plat where there's water lines which nobody can attach to. So a segment for that plan's done.
Okay.
We talked about in the very beginning, but we got wrapped up in the other parts of the whole transaction. But it's come full circle to, we can't, even though there's capacity in the system you bought from us, we can't attach to it.
Correct.
Even though there's capacity. The other,
Until we get this,
yes,
all, got it.
the other thing is that, I don't know if it's been conveyed to you or not, but because I missed the last regular meeting, because kind of planning advisory committee, there's certain conflict with growth management and meetings and all that kind of thing. But anyway, short and sweet is that this project is identified, if nothing else, an area where the board should look at from the standpoint of oversight and what it takes to do one of these projects. What I mean by that is that, for a long time, I'm not an engineer, but I've been on the board, hey, yes, you got a plan, but no, it doesn't do this, and doesn't, and so it's been that kind of off and on like that for the last 4 years. Interestingly, after several goes at it with Travis and I, pushing a point with the engineer, the light went on. As far as, oh yeah, we could do this, and in the end, it actually, well, I'm gonna say the end, in the intertie with the system and using our wells, our well as the primary, it looks like it's going to be actually better than I said it was. Meaning, less money, less time, less issues, and what have you.
And what
And-
he's coming up with, you
Yeah.
mean, with what
Well,
he's
no,
coming
it's-
up with, or,
After we kept pushing.
Yeah.
Or I kept pushing this point, you know, I let him go through the whole spiel this last go. There were a month or so back.
Mhm.
Down at their office when Travis and I met with Mike down at his office.
Mhm.
And that was the third go, but I let him go all the way through, you know. Because we go down this path. And so we ran into resistance at kind of a point where it's a little engineering problem. And so I pushed it back into the discussion. It's like, what if we do this? And then he started thinking and started looking and with all the numbers that he recalculated off of Northwest Water's plans and redoing that. Because missing segments and numbers that prove whether you can or cannot service or connections. He started coming to the light saying, oh, well, then we wouldn't have to do this. So in effect, if I understand where he's been based on what Travis and I talked about, when this is all said and done, before we even increase the pump capacities, they're going to be able to, so to speak, depend on that as a backup. Put a piece of electronics in front of my pump, or your pump. No, I still have to have it for 14 years. 15 years it said, your pump, their new pump. And then this other device, which I kept pushing at for the last 3 meetings, which is basically a pressure reducer, but on a system wise size, not a individual house, but kind of a utility, you know, municipal size. Through doing that, he's come up with the ability to serve all but my guess is maybe 15 lots
Great.
without going any further, and it's real close on the others. And there's still room to work. And then so that allows, so that gets the number of connections, and then the other step that'll have to occur some point in the future was then you'll replace that pump with 5 horse with 15. And you know, we're good for a long time. So what I'm getting at is we're not going into grandiose different approaches that are kind of being laid out. And it's actually working out better.
So you're getting a little bit of your way on this, you know.
Oh, I'm getting it in spades.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
This is actually.
well, in the end, we are, so.
well, no, we are, but
Well,
we wanted this
Yes.
feedback from you and that conversation that you're having with the engineer to get this simpler. So
Yes.
we're getting some direction on that.
Yeah, and so where I'm going is on a grander scale, what I'm saying is, this isn't, you're having in effect oversight by me, Travis, and what have you. But we kind of need that on all levels. You know, facilities, you know, in other words, so we don't have the issues that came up through, you know, contracts being signed with boards not aware until after the fact, but you know, that starting some not in the past. So that kind of oversight's needed, and especially it looks like, especially with engineering, it's not that they're misleading you or what have you, they're engineering and they're designing. But it seems like there's a missing step between designing, engineering it, and oh by the way, something called customers. What they have to pay. Lost
Yeah,
track,
right.
there's track of them. And what I'm getting at is, he's actually, you know, whether, you know, he's trying to one up me, I don't care, doesn't matter. But in the end, he's gonna use less hardware to do what we wanted in the beginning.
Okay.
So I mean, literally, you're not gonna have a booster station.
Wow.
Which is great.
Yeah, through
Well,
creative engineering, we're
Yeah.
saving $50,000
Absolutely.
50,000,
minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum.
that, and every so often you have to replace that too, so.
It's another motor, it's another pump, it's another.
Nothing
Yeah.
go wrong.
And a building and all that.
It's a whole other level of putting away for capitalized costs.
Right, that's where I was going, with, which means eventually we'll also make it easier to lower the
Eventually
customers.
get there, a lot easier, quicker.
Yeah,
Is this because of the gravity situation with the water? Is
No,
that
it's-
why?
How do I explain it?
You can make it simple or don't.
There's ways to drive a pump to make it more efficient than either our pump or your pump was. Okay, that's one big statement. So there's ways with electronics and how you can load a pump to do more efficient work. One.
Right.
Two. In effect, he's raising the pressure on our old system a little bit. But then we're throwing a reducer in the middle so that we're not driving up the pressure on the original user's
Oh,
island.
wow, okay.
But in effect, allowing you to serve further up in elevation, you at the same time push water into your tank, so you serve all this area you've always served.
And that reducer actually
great.
allows more pressure down below.
Right.
Okay,
And
okay.
And for some reason, you know, it blows my mind, but for some reason, they thought our lines are 2-inch. So nobody apparently read the plan.
Wow.
All right, that's like way cool. So we're closing the gap on this communication and I appreciate very much doing that.
Right, but I mean, I'm trying to do two things. One is, I'm happy to see this happen. It makes me feel good that what I was telling you is coming true.
Right.
Yes,
Better, people are better than I told.
Oh, you can never guarantee anything, but
No,
your
but
effort
it always feels
paid off.
good to tell you something and then have it be that or better.
Yes.
And it's better.
It's better.
So
that's
that-
good.
And we still have not addressed, which I believe you'll address when they do the water system plan, this issue of maximum peak hour demand and maximum daily demand. Which our system, we could provide twice, gallon per gallon, we could serve 2 times the user's port rate.
Okay.
So for example, your old number was like 132. Technically speaking, it should be around 230 to 260. With what you have. But now this whole thing's changing again, and so it'll be probably that in the end or better. And at that point, you have to update the pump. But you're adding no more buildings, you're adding no more infrastructure, and if you're adding any, it's right in what you already have.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Well, that's good news.
So that doesn't help us get the rates down for next year.
No, not yet.
But at least we're on the capital facilities side of the equation, we turn the corner as far as long-term.
So you talked about continuing oversight, for me, that's beyond my expertise, so. What do we,
I, first of all, let me step back.
Okay.
I see this issue across the county, not just here.
mhm,
Only by working your budget, working this water system, so I kind of got in the middle of 2 different divergent things, but one kind of more engineering, one more administrative.
Okay.
I'm seeing factors that are similar in other agencies, the government, and what have you, in the county. I don't have an answer, because I recognize on the one hand that the board has to run the show, but you can't do the day-to-day stuff. So how do you go about, I mean, fine, I trust Travis, I trust myself, but you're not forever.
right,
And so when the next party comes in,
Yeah.
we need to have something set up and,
something, and I'm not saying I know what it is. I'm observing a situation that between what we had in the past and what we have today, we're miles ahead, but this is only through a conscious effort that we're in the middle of it. When I'm out of the picture, Travis out of the picture, you need something else. And I'm saying, I don't see this at the county level, I don't see this at the, at the PUD, I don't see this at any level in any of these government agent, districts, and what have you. It's like in the case of engineering, engineers rule and where they go. Yeah. I mean, they have oversight in different things, but what I'm trying to say is, generically speaking, I don't see it, and I don't have a good answer for you, but I believe the board needs to be looking at it.
well, maybe that's something that we can deal with when we get our water plan updated, but when we deal with the person who's going to help us with that.
So
To
we're
put
really,
some kind of plan in place for people down the road to run it.
so we're really talking about, what does that model look like?
Yeah, and what's the management model?
What, yeah,
that works with the commission
from the, and it
to a
can,
director,
a general
Yeah.
model,
yeah.
and then each entity would come from that model to
Correct.
there, but from the operation and maintenance, operation and maintenance to administrative side. And just the journey we've had,
Right.
that would develop this
I
model.
mean, there's no way in God's earth
I think that could be
that
done.
you would know, walking in, looking at a water system, what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't know at the beginning. And I didn't know, it's my surprise when finally Mike the engineer works out one other thing and said, oh, holy crap, that means you can do this without buying this.
It's great.
But that's, in my mind, how it should be.
yeah.
I know I'm not gonna do it to kill myself. I'd like to do some other things.
That takes a team, not extraordinarily people, but just
No.
a team of a few people to sit down and say, what does this look like? Technical standpoint to kind of the general big picture
Right.
standpoint.
It's like
Right.
administratively, this is smaller scale than before. But we saw, some of the contracts, like, the computer side issue. That should not have gone that way. Should not, and, but it's like the board doesn't know until, you run into it, like, oh. Well, that's not the way you
Yeah.
should run into it.
No, like we have.
No, it's,
Yes, no, exactly. I think that's our end goal here. I mean, really, we're not just about looking to solve, do damage control every time we run into a single
No.
challenge.
Yeah.
We're looking at trying to get ahead of this and saying, okay, this is how, and we'll always leave room to improve what model we come up with.
and I'm
we
not
develop.
saying go after everything, I'm saying, well, really
Yeah.
saying, look at the big pieces. Right now, water's part of it, your capital facilities is part of it, ongoing, whatever. Just look at some of the things, and like I said, I don't have the answer. I'm not trying to pretend I have the answer. I just see this issue that there's no way the board can know everything, but at the same time, you're being asked to make decisions on everything.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
as much as if I want to chew you out of something, that's fine, but that's really that's not productive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I mean, I just may disagree with what we're doing. Yeah, I get to go to my elected official and that's all great and wonderful. But there needs to be some kind of oversight process,
Well,
at least at a high level.
well, thank you for even bringing that up, Jeff, because I think that's something that we should at least, when we come to our updating our water plan and all that, that get that protocol in place or
Right.
start
But
the dialogue.
It's with everything.
But, and you understand, I'm saying, not only the water system, I'm saying how you administratively work
Yeah,
with the director,
I do.
because it's not fair to them that you
True.
put it on him, but it's not fair to you to do the other. There has to be some mechanism the public feels good about, because the
Mhm.
public doesn't feel good about what's necessarily happened in the past.
sure.
And so
More intercommunication, it's a good start.
there's that, but
Well, it's a delegation of,
but it's a
the job,
But
really.
there's delegation, but there's oversight means there has to be some, you can delegate, but somehow you've got to manage.
Mm-hmm.
I know,
There's not
I just-
enough of us, actually.
I know where he's going.
Isn't that why, anyway, yeah.
You know where-
Head coaches get hired and fired all the time.
Correct.
It's his fault.
Right, right. It's just in this case,
It'll get better.
I've been lucky to see this situation because because of the problems you have with the water and the problems you have with the budget. And seeing how that all got
Integrated,
integrated or
yeah, right.
and say, well, that's not gonna ever work right. You know what I'm saying? It's great that he's understanding, it's great that I do, and the board's hearing what we're saying, that's great. But none of us are forever, and it needs that mechanism so that when the next parties come in, for commissioners, they can, so to speak, for lack of a better word, there's just kind of like flow chart that you look at, don't mean elaborate, but just like when decisions are made and how they're just, how it works and how it's looked at or reviewed. Well, when you know something, you have the expertise, and when you don't have the expertise, such as the water system,
Mm-hmm.
And how, I don't have a good, because.
Well, there's gotta be something out there that's already been established.
Well, because when I'm comparing notes with what he's telling me with other people that run water systems,
Mhm.
and then I'm giving him my input. And I've noticed there's a difference, I see that a difference. These are people with the best of intentions running a system, but they're running a system, whereas I'm looking at from, it's coming out of my hide, how do I make it work and be self-sustaining indefinitely without a crisis later on, if, you know, either billing or, you know, whatever the crisis might be. And I think there's a difference between, so to speak, looking at from a kind of a private sector side, for lack of a better word, to a
Governmental,
public
yeah.
sector.
You're
True.
saying basically we'd all be better off if we all treated all this like it was coming out of our own pocket versus
Well, it'd be nice if we could.
taxpayers'
That
pocket.
would be nice, but.
Well, it would, because then you can be, you know, you can get things
Yeah.
more quickly.
And I'm not talking about quickly, I'm really just saying that the decisions you make are intelligent enough to, you know, that you it's, because like I said, you'll know something about one thing, you'll know something about something else. None of you will know, like I said, there's no way you would know on the water system we could do what we did. There's just no way.
Yeah, true.
But but we've had 3 different engineers on this that have told us, for Ryan, at Northwest Water.
So-
Water.
Yeah, okay, good, yeah, right. well, sure.
Part of that puzzle, we've integrated into this by requesting and asking, and you were all for doing it, was having you heavily involved with.
Sure.
That's part of that equation.
That is smart.
It's a big part of it.
That was our way of doing it.
And then there's that connection with the community, that needs to happen too, where, they feel like they're a part of anything that anybody has to say to give, you know, for question and answer and for discussion or whatever, making ourselves more as an entity, as a port, where we're not, we're not, there's a lot of people don't even know that we exist and they live right in the community, is what I'm trying to say,
I know,
right? And then when they do find out, it's usually because they're not happy with something,
right.
a lot of times, not all the time. So there's gotta be that we're not doing, and maybe that's actually part of that model. Our model isn't just about water, our model is gonna be as a port, and we have other ports to be able to look at to do that, but. And then part of that model is the water system, and there's a lot of people doing a lot of things right around the country probably, and a lot of people doing things that aren't right, and we can draw from that.
There has to be some method of quasi replicating kind of how we work here in all of your other endeavors. For like,
Yeah.
if I had to sum it up like that, because that's about as close as we come. It's not really oversight, because I'm not,
Right,
you're the oversight and technically the oversight.
yeah,
But I'm kind of by oversighting what you're doing and saying, no,
that's interesting. Because it's if you don't know something, somebody can sound like they really know what they're talking about.
most people do.
Yeah, you know, and I don't want to bring up, and that's kind of what's happened here.
And my experience with this comes from my days in logistics and purchasing. Where you had everybody and their brother selling you their wares, and this was not electronics manufacturing. And the parts may be good and they're better or worse. And you had to ferret out, both at an engineering level and an administrative level, what you were going to use and work with your engineering. And I'm not saying in this environment, I'm not quite sure how to work that, because we're kind of working here with water, but you know, that's it.
Okay.
Well, maybe we could make another workshop down the road or
Yes.
next year, like January, February, and start coming together with something.
I just think it, first of all, to start with, it needs to be front and center.
Mhm.
You don't have to have the answer, but I think we all three understand what I'm saying here is that we need to start thinking about how we get oversight, if nothing else, at least ask the question each meeting. You know, how would you oversee this? How do you, like, for example, the oyster house?
Mhm.
How do you get oversight so that, because certain parts of the public feel like, okay, it was gonna come in at this
So,
cost, and now it's this.
that's
even though we're not paying.
I think one of the things that looks like is actually have an oversight committee. And what they do, and it's not like anything and everything that they agree or disagree with becomes part of what, we're still ultimately the oversight.
Right.
But we can have an oversight committee that's like quality, like a quality control unit, if you will. That, you know, with the board, the commission makes the
Sure.
final decision, but we can have that, and that transparency might also be helpful in terms of making really good, healthy headway down the road and developing relations with the community. Like getting people, few people involved, very local though, by the way, not a broad county thing.
No,
Some people very local up in the village and or in our districts, that kind of thing, who want to come in and go, like being a part of this, you know, and I don't know what that looks like yet either,
and that's fine. I mean,
but
And it also helps, we can find people that
I think it's a great idea.
subject matter experts on whatever it is.
I think you're
their
gonna be on that
oversight.
committee.
For the water, yeah.
Debbie's gonna argue.
Okay, well, you can help us with that either way, I
I'm
think.
gonna be the neutral party.
Okay, well, you can be a neutral committee party,
But anyway,
anyway,
I guess I essentially committee or something, you know.
yeah,
But start with the bigger, bigger item, i.e. the water system,
Yeah.
i.e. the finances, i.e. whatever.
Yes.
Whatever. I mean, that's because you haven't done it since the courts existed. I haven't been seeing it done really
Yeah.
countywide in any of the agencies. You're gonna try to do something that seems like might be a good idea. So maybe you only take two projects, maybe water systems one, maybe what capital facilities another, or something, whatever, whatever. But somehow the board has to have the oversight to make sure this happens, yet at the same time, you're not gonna know everything about.
so we develop a vision beyond what we've had as a vision here. That starts to look and smell and see what that tastes like, as far as having that vision for that additional element that we're kind of trying to figure out what that looks like still. But that, I think it's in the discussion.
The water system was a good one because most of you are coming in not knowing.
Yeah,
So that was a good one for me to relate to you.
yeah,
Oversight. But there's gotta be another, maybe there is, in my mind, there's gotta be another way than having Jeff look at the system and say, oh, no, it's.
no, I like it a lot.
But there has to be a mechanism somehow, because I don't know how, I understand the problem. We're gonna get engineering reports, we're gonna get experts testifying, whatever. There has to be a method where it's almost like kind of like a cross check.
The brainstorming team,
Well, let's move on.
Yeah.
And I like the term, what you're saying, a mechanism to do that, because that is different than just a protocol plan or a
Yeah.
plan for protocol,
Yeah.
because the mechanism is very, very different. So
yeah,
we'll get to that then, I think, and we'll try to keep
Yeah.
up with that.
To me, if you figure it out, to me, it's gotta be, when I say this, I don't mean it any disrespect, it has to be stupidly simple.
Sure.
yes,
So that you can walk up to it and you're presented with something, you can look at and say, well, where are we in the scheme of things? And then say, okay, we're at this step, fine. And then we can move ahead, the next.
I'm more thinking about, okay, what do we need to bring in, and we'll talk more about this. What do we need to bring into the mix here to create the mechanism? Not like come up with a mechanism. So we need a think tank, more or less.
I'm kind of hung up on the mechanism because I don't believe we're gonna get all the people you need to do the different things you're gonna do based upon past experience. Being around.
Well, I'm not
Sure.
relying on people in general.
No,
I'm just looking at more brains, more mind,
No.
more heart.
Yes, as part of that oversight, yeah, what I'm talking about is for you three. To be able to look, on a cheat sheet. That says, okay, we're starting a major project.
Mm.
And,
I
or we're maintaining a major project. You've
I
got two
see.
different situations. You got your capital facilities, that's a major project, the things you need to keep track of. Where do you wanna be, 10 years from now on things? Where do you wanna be 10 years with the water system, or, on the different pieces? I'm not putting it in the context of a comp plan, I'm putting it in the context of how you look at things when they come before you with the ability to make a somewhat rational, if possible,
Yeah.
decision on things that says, okay, I'm doing my best bet, I don't know this, but we've had this testimony this way, and we had this testimony this way. You know, then make a decision.
Yeah,
Because in the past, you just like, in the case of the water system, you had one presentation. And away you went.
yeah, okay.
Had we known, had we even looked at it and before, we would not have spent that money for that up there. Question is, would we have known what we know today? Because, yeah, it was a learning curve, I don't know. But the good thing is, it will be better than what you planned. And all I'm saying is that figure out a way to make that whole mechanism work for you for other facets of the course.
How much is it gonna cost? What's the return on it? How long is it gonna take? No, whatever the,
I'll say no more, that way you can move on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Well, let's keep that up. Make another workshop. Probably, I don't know if we want to try that in the next,
No,
Christmas, holidays and whatnot, but
If
January,
I come
February.
across something,
Sure.
I got this problem with the county, okay? And it-
Well, and plus I know there's something out there through Washington Public Ports. I know there's something out there.
There has
They
to,
have to be. Because we're not unique.
Right.
So,
no, put it,
okay, so let's move on then.
and then I'm gonna disappear because I have another obligation.
Okay,
But I think the rest are other things, not what we played a while. ago.
no, I don't think so. Nope, okay,
I appreciate you taking my presentation on it and my insight that I saw on this whole process, I appreciate that. So,
thank you,
I
Jeff.
thank you for the.
cut it down.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Okay, now we move on to the Allen Water Fund here emergency repair.
Yep, any questions on my statement there? We've got.
Do we know how long it's gonna take for them to craft? Put that stuff together?
Steel barriers, I just need to touch bases with them. I know that they put it into their fab shop. So they're probably done or close to done at this point.
So then we'll be looking. in
But
very-
those wouldn't be installed until after power pedestals came in and were installed.
And how long do we looking, do you think, for that?
Last check was at least 10 weeks from the point we pay and pay for it.
10 weeks? So another, what, 8, 9 weeks out?
Well, we haven't paid for them yet.
Oh, we gotta pay, oh,
They will be on the venture approval list on our next regular meeting.
okay,
Okay,
so at least 12 weeks out then.
Yeah, we just don't, we don't have the funding until after all of our tax money rolls in because it's a reimbursement basis.
How do we protect it?
But we're fully confident that these new barriers will take care of our problem.
okay, Oyster House,
So I sent off an email to Art Anderson about changing how we can pay them for this architectural redraw. Because it's quite a bit for us to come up with in one voucher cycle after we get our taxes. But it's another one of those where we make the payment, we submit the paid receipt, and Commerce will reimburse the funds.
How
Okay.
quickly? If you don't mind?
It's within a week,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
which we've already had a test on that.
So yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's within a week. It's just a matter of getting that paid invoice from the people we pay. which-
100% paid
Yeah.
back, right? All right, cool.
It's just 56,000, it's not a small chunk of change.
No, it's not.
Right,
so when I was at the Port Conference.
yeah.
We had a conversation with Peter of is it Lion Consultants? I can't
Le-
remember now. Leon?
Yeah, LOEN.
Okay, well, anyway, and Bill Ray was our original biologist and he was kind of out of commission for a while, but he's kind of getting back and we talked to him about moving forward. So they might have some other ideas to help us move forward with the movement
Got
of this. I'll keep you posted on that one.
it's been a frustrating process for you, I know.
That's for sure. Okay, port safety and security.
Yeah, so we're real close to having cameras operational there. It's just a matter of finding a dry day and put Dawn, Natalia and myself down there to finish connecting the camera and putting it on the new pole.
Great.
That looks pretty good. We've got all the materials and components that we need to do it, so just a matter of getting down there for a day and getting it done.
Wonderful.
But then there's a second phase to that, because that was just moving all the equipment off of one PUD pole. We have the rest of the equipment plus line power connected to the other PUD pole behind the pay station. And that one there will have to involve electrician to move the actual power lines. So, except it won't be as involving as we thought, because we originally got one bid from an electrical contractor for doing both sides, moving
Oh, okay.
moving the line that
Is that what that
helped
was?
with.
Is that what that bid was from Green Line?
Yeah.
Was both? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
So we'll talk to them and renegotiate, relook at the process with them, but then also do our due diligence and get other bids.
Okay. And,
Can we just do, can I do move the other line too? It needs moved.
The other line that needs to be moved, I mean, we can facilitate doing the earthwork, but we can't really do the electrical line with it, because it'll require permitting.
Oh, well,
It's line voltage, so
okay.
we're not gonna do line voltage.
any other questions?
That's pretty straightforward. Thank you
Okay.
for that.
Case Inlet Fisheries Task Force.
Yeah, so been keeping up with their meetings. They had one 2 Thursdays ago. And they are getting closer to the point where applying for their 501(c)(3) is in the cards for them. They've already applied with the state for limited liability status, I believe, is the step that they've started. So that they could create a board. They had preliminary discussions about operating budget and board positions. If anyone's interested in getting into that with them, I can put them in touch with Brad. They are definitely trying to reach out to the community to get more engagement. A lot of them have been very open about how busy they are, so trying to find someone who's a little less busy, that has a real love to get into the fish enthusiast ranks. But if you have any thoughts on community members that could have an interest, please let me know. I'll get them in touch for the next meeting.
Do we, is that something? Let me, 2 things, this is a 2-part question. And bear with me. Do we have a way on our website to know, like, when people are looking at it, not the person itself, but like, do we have a way to know that, hey, we've got 150 people looked at it, that got on our.
Yeah, I can look into that. A lot of websites have counters.
The reason why I'm asking number 2 is that we can put stuff like what you're saying, you look at the community, people want to volunteer. We gotta put something on there. You know,
Yeah, good idea.
and
Yeah.
you've got a team up
Yeah,
there that knows.
That's
about-
one thing that could be put up there is, like our volunteer form and how to
Yeah,
contact for volunteer status.
yeah,
We'll put that in the notes for the meeting.
yeah, it'd be nice, like in a month, we go, hey, yeah, we had like a couple hundred people look on our website, and we got a few people that were interested in volunteering or whatever, but, or maybe there's nothing to report at all, but optimistic when
Mhm.
people are going there, wanting to know what's going on in the community, and we could put maybe a sign out there. Please look, something about going to our website, and we're looking for people who want to give back to the community. We're all about supporting that. We are the community. We are you, you are us, whatever that looks like. You see where I'm going with that? It's
Yeah.
like, so we can draw more interest in the local community. And there's a lot of retired people that are looking for people, looking for something to do.
Yeah.
Giving back.
Duly noted. Thank you, Joe.
Anything else?
The only thing that I wanted to bring up was one of the things we talked when we were at the conference. Was one of the things that came up was a lot of ports are getting, now this something down the line, not now.
Sure.
Way too much, but a lot of ports are getting involved in, is we have access to help putting in cable. For internet,
Broadband.
broadband, yeah,
Oh, okay.
because a lot of people don't have access to broadband in this area.
We had some involvement indirectly. Yeah, in the rural areas that don't have it, but,
We have access to funds and grants.
Commissioner Jackson was actually doing involved with that, but I don't know where he left off.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
so.
I don't know where he left off with that, you know,
Oh.
I can't speak for him, but, yeah,
It's just something we could look at in the future to.
yeah.
So, and
Yeah, there's plenty of money.
see how
out there.
people feel
Sounds
about
good.
that. And then we talked about the, putting out a survey. To see what people are interested in.
Yeah, I actually have a community member coming in next, probably this week. I think she indicated this week, about redoing our survey,
Oh, super,
so
good.
we'll see where that leads.
It's a good
So-
survey out there to help get people's interest
Yeah.
in what we're doing, what they want.
And they gotta know how to get the survey done, right? So that goes along with a reader board, don't, you know, whatever. Something, flyer, it's something to let them know that we want, cause there's imagine how many people go by here today. We have an opportunity here to promote ourselves right here.
Speaking of reader board, Larry got a sign. Where is that
Yeah,
sign?
that's where I'm going with it.
Don actually scrapped it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it wasn't something that was going to be easy or cheap
Okay,
to put up.
Maybe we go back to the conventional way of doing it. Maybe we would find someone in a dermo world where we can put something up there. Volunteers needed, surveys online,
It would have required at the least a power and some
Mhm.
kind of foundation to put it on, and it wasn't in.
It was
great
pretty big,
shape.
actually,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It was huge.
cause it was like the size of that wall, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was big. It would also require, I'm pretty sure DOT permits. to put
Yeah,
that.
true.
Oh, okay.
And if they have, I think they have a sign ordinance here in Belfair, it wouldn't go. I don't know what it is here in Allen, but
doesn't the
Yeah.
Allen Community Association have a reader board?
They have a community board up at the grocery store.
That's something we
That's,
can might
and
see.
what they also have is they use their Windermere sign.
mhm.
Richard Bell runs the Windermere office, and they use their Windermere reader board to put things up out community wide.
I wonder if we could do that. Wonder if we could get something. Is that asking too much?
Yeah, it's one of those boards that you change the letters on.
I know.
Yeah, you'd have to talk to Richard.
You mean to utilize his?
Hmm.
Mean to utilize his at Windermere?
If he's willing, I mean,
Or read realty.
Yeah. Well, I have used this on occasion.
we won't know
But
until we
if we
see.
need to, yeah, just tell me and,
Never hurts to
We'll ask,
ask,
'cause
the
we
worst they
do.
can say is no, right?
Port of Allen, looking for volunteers and looking, survey, please do a survey, go to our website, advertise our website. And then
Okay.
get stuff on our website, maybe that, get some, if we got something on our website, Travis, then we could get something advertised and go to our website. and reference
good
it.
idea.
So, input, community input, encouraged, Port of Allen wants to serve you better, you know. Something simple, please go to website, da, da, da.
Yeah, they only have 5
There's only
lines.
so much, but,
Yeah, they only have five
something
lines.
very
but-
simple on those lines.
So let me know when you get that survey done, then I'll advertise that. I'll have them advertise it on the Read.
Yeah, there's that big old board in Port Orchard that's off to the side of blank. How much does it cost to use that?
I'm
thing?
also thinking about that, what big board up there by the water company, right up
$5
there.
grand a month.
$5,000 a month?
Yep.
Oh, forget it.
That was-
Never
that
mind,
was five-
okay.
That was 5 years ago, because I looked into.
Oh, my
doing
God.
something. Yep,
No wonder none of the commissioners put themselves on that board.
it's
Running for
expensive,
reelection.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
that's outrageous.
because I
Alright.
looked into that, so.
Right, well, got a couple good ideas here.
Yeah, no, I'll have them put something on the reader
Something
board.
that, you know, that's why I was curious about the numbers, and is there a way to know, like, right now, you probably not a lot of people go there, but if suddenly we got a big influx of people going there, would we know how many people were even going there? You know? Then we know how effective our website is when people do go there.
Okay,
You got, your girls can be looking at that.
Yeah, it's, I need to talk to, Greg, who's actually still controls the full website.
Okay.
So.
Well,
okay,
cause I'm trying to figure out a way to suggest things. Or things that can improve what we're doing without being really tasking for you, Travis. So, but if you've got a way to spread that wealth out pretty quick with a simple idea, then that's the way to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we might get back to getting volunteers that are willing to help say.
Well, that's it. If we get a few volunteers that can come in even one day a week and you get 3 people, for example, that can put 3 or 4 or 5 hours in, that's just an example. Okay, what do you want me to do today? I mean, that is phenomenal.
huge, yeah.
You got some people up here in the community that don't even know that we want that. I bet you there's some up there that would do that. Yeah,
Great. Okay, anything else for the good of the order?
one more thing is if we got a couple volunteers, we could actually, if someone really likes it, this is just food for thought. We can have somebody who's a lead volunteer that is always recruiting more people. And then they always report to you to find out what your needs are, what you want to do, and then you find out what their skill sets are. Just go from there. Lord willing, it'll all go, be organic as hell, be really a nice way to go.
A volunteer coordinator, looking for a volunteer coordinator.
Yeah, and then they can put the energy and effort in getting more.
Looking for a volunteer coordinator.
Yes,
Yes.
'Cause I do know a volunteer coordinator.
volunteer
They're paid
coordinator.
very handsome.
Volunteer coordinator takes care of that. And then they'll go, okay, cool, and how many volunteers you have? No, you don't understand. You're supposed to coordinate getting more volunteers. Anyway, whatever.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Meeting adjourned?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, commissioners.
Yeah.
Good.